Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So this is a video on my first layers, and I know it doesn't look like my first layers because I do have some stuff down on it, but I also have a lot of white page showing through. So to me, this is still my first layers. Now I'm just going to explain what I did here. I first of all used a stencil over here, here, and here, and then I added some text here, here, and here. And then I drew some figures in a Stabilo pencil, and I put a red background, and I think that's about it. Oh, I added like a wash of acrylic paint over top of my stencil over here and here. And now I'm just gonna complete my first layer. So I think what I'm gonna do, first of all, is I need some yellow. Now I have laid some paints off to the side here. And I think what I'm gonna do is like put a wash, and I love doing that, like putting a wash over top of a stencil. It just makes for a beautiful and interesting color field. So I'm really loving that. And I think I'm gonna bring some of that into here and maybe over here. So this is still my first layer. So, you know, I'm not too concerned about, you know, what my subsequent layers are gonna be. And even though I have my figures put on the page, I'm still not thinking too much about, you know, what they're gonna look like at the end, and, you know, who knows what might stay, what might go, etc., etc. So now I got some of the blue onto my yellow, so that kind of turned it a little bit green, but that's okay. It is totally fine. And let me see here. So I know things are looking very messy, and that's totally fine. I'm actually wanting it to look messy. And I mentioned this a lot, like with my first layers. I want things to be really organic. I want them to be messy and juicy, and I don't want to know where things are going. And even though I did put the figures down on the page, I'm also trying to look at these figures as abstract. Like, I'm trying not to look at them as figures, if that makes any sense. I want it to be very abstract and loosey-goosey. I don't want to be constrained by just because these are figures. I still wanted to have that very loose kind of feel to it. So I'm just going to use my fingers now and just kind of play around. And like I said, I don't want to look at these as figures per se, so I'm just kind of like having fun and, you know, just playing and just being curious and in beginner's mind, just trying to approach the page as if, you know, as if it's a blank slate and I don't really know what I'm going to do. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. And when I turn my page around, that's another way that I can just lose the figure. Like, I'm not focused on the figure so much. as just color fields and shapes and patterns and line. And that's how I'm looking at this. So just because I added figures in my first layer, it doesn't mean I'm going to approach my page any differently. So I'm going to use my Stabilo pencil, and I just want to like make some marks, you know, just kind of rough it up a bit. And I don't know if the figures are going to stay. I don't know if this red background is going to stay. I don't know any of that. And everything might get covered up, or, you know, who knows. And things are looking super juicy, which I love. So I'm really loving this like green over here, and I think I'm gonna kind of like bring it more into the face here, even though, you know, there's a large possibility that it's all gonna get covered up, but I'm really liking that. So I'm gonna bring this yellow over here. So my objective for this stage of the spread is to cover up all of the white page. Like, that is my only objective, besides being in beginner's mind and approaching the page from a space of curiosity, playfulness, and experimentation. My only other goal is to just cover up all the white space. So I think we are almost there of covering up everything. And I know this looks like a big, huge mess. And that's a good thing. So now I feel that I can allow this to dry and then come back, and it's going to be my middle layers after this completely dries. So if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.